Hey, it's Hannah. The title of my article was 6 Ways to Help Students Understand Math. And so basically, this article just kind of focused on the fact that students need to understand the material presented, and they need to be able to apply the skills and recall the concepts in the future. And so just really had 6 ways to make that happen. And it talked about how, there's little benefit with students just being able to recall a procedure or a formula and being able to, just practice and drill, but they need to be able to fully understand that. And so this article gave us 6 ways. The first one was just create an effective class opener. So the article basically just said set the tone for the class and make sure that the students understand the objective that is being gone over at the beginning of the class, and just the purpose and the expectations at the beginning of the class, what they're supposed to be doing, and just maybe even kind of preview previous lessons that have been talked about that might make connections to this math lesson or whatever. And then the second one was introduce topics using multiple representations. And so this kind of goes along with the 7 multiple intelligences. I forgot the guy's name. I don't know if it's Maslow. But anyways, it kind of goes along with that students don't learn in just one way or one method, one approach. They have to have several different ways. So whether that's visual, like using manipulatives, stuff like that, or just any of those other kinds of ways that it can be extended to those students who need, different approaches and stuff like that. And then the next one would be to solve the problem in many ways. And so this is kind of different from the multiple representations, because if you were to take a math problem and you were to solve that problem, but maybe it wasn't clicking with the student and they weren't able to see how you got there, maybe you could try a different way to solve that problem. And even have students develop their own way to solve problems if they can. And they said that's really the best way to do it, if it's correct, if the steps are correct, because they really, it puts them in control of their own learning, and they're able to really understand math more because they're creating those ways and they're making those connections to be able to put math to a real life situation or a real world problem. And then the next one was you have to show the application. So basically that's just taking, a minute out of each lesson to show students how, a problem can be used outside of the classroom. Maybe some problems might not be a real world problem, but you can use different connections and like how it connects to another subject area, or just how it's important to know for math for a real world problem. So they need to be able to understand the purpose behind it, and that will help them find more of an interest in math. The fifth one was have students communicate their reasoning. So really this stressed on explaining the problem, and not only having students explain math problems that they've completed to the teacher, but explaining it to themselves and maybe peers, and then maybe they could partner up and talk to their partner about ways that they solve the problem, and then that person could talk about the ways that they solve that problem. And so it just reciprocates that understanding, and they're able to kind of go through and really analyze why they did what they did to come to a solution. And then the 6th way was to finish class with a summary. And so that's just kind of, your summative assessment, I guess. And so it just talked about how it's important to close the class and make sure, that students understand what they're doing. It talked about even going over the problems, like the first few problems of a homework assignment, depending what grade, just to make sure the students really know what the lesson was about. And it kind of reviews the information for them, puts it in a summary, and they're able to kind of gather a whole understanding, because there's a lot of details in certain math concepts. And so that was my article.